Me, 24F, am getting suspicious of my husband, 25M, on what he does every Saturday night. I have been with my husband for 5 years to be precise. Married for 2. I have known since like the first month of our relationship that he was the man for me. He always makes me happy. Smile. Be intrigued by him. Is there for me when I need him. And all that stuff. But for a year now he always goes with his friends, drinking every Saturday. And returns late. Late as in 6 a.m. or even later. I always wake up as he comes home. Though weirdly he never sounds like he is drunk at all. Although I have not heard him being incredibly drunk as long as I have known him, so maybe that is a me thing. Anyway, these friends of his always come by our house 7 p.m. sharp. I think there have been like 3 times or so that they haven't been here by 7 p.m. And when I mean 7 p.m. sharp, I mean not a minute later. And even when they have been later, it has at most been like 5 minutes only. They never address me unless I speak to them first, and the 3 of them always speak rather quiet, instead of a more party-going spirit. It's really weird, as to me you just get a weird vibe standing there with them. My husband is already dressed by the time they come, so they leave in like a minute or 2, and then, as I mentioned, my husband comes back alone at 6 a.m. or so. At times I have asked to come along because I grew suspicious they may be going to shady places, like a strip club of some sort, because my husband never sounded drunk, but also never went alone, unless these friends covered for him. You see, my husband has cheated on me once, but it was in the first year of our relationship, and at the time he claimed to be immensely depressed because a lot of his family members died that year, and he couldn't confide in me because I was abroad for most of that year unless there was a vacation that I then spend with him, because I knew it was a hard time for him. I knew that while not a good reason necessarily, people make bad decisions when they are left to grieve by their own. So after something we both agreed to move on and forget all about it. Until this year, when he all of a sudden made these friends of his and has been spending every Saturday night with them, supposedly. When I did break under the pressure of not knowing what he was doing, I did begin to ask things like, "Can I scroll to your phone for a second?" Or almost interrogating him by asking what things he was doing the whole night and why he always came back so late. He always casually gave the phone to me with no problems, and I couldn't find anything even after scrolling on like 5 separate times. I knew I was going too far, but he somehow didn't mind and said he had nothing to hide. However, this also is where the weird stuff begins to show itself. He doesn't have any real conversations with these friends of his beside the one message saying they are coming for him on Saturday night every week between 6 o'clock and 6:30 p.m. They all message him this at this 30-minute interval every week and have no conversations nor a reply from my husband back to them of any sort. I have also asked to tag along, but this has almost always been denied. And when I was allowed to come 2 times, we just went to the bar and drank like he said he would. His friends still didn't talk to me unless I spoke to them first, and they barely drank anything. Maybe like 3 to 5 beers, and that was it. Then at 5:30 we all went our separate ways, and me and my husband would go home. Him also only drinking like 4 beers or so. Nothing of note happens, which just makes it feel even weirder. Especially when my husband just casually talks to me but barely speaks to his supposed friends at all. And when they do, it almost feels like no energy is being put into the conversation. Just casual talk like you would do with a coworker. Nothing like anyone else I have seen go to a bar with friends do. There just isn't any excitement or fun to speak of. And the times where I do get to tag along, it always had to be a week in advance as well. Never on the day where his friends are at my door. I'm telling you, it is just the weirdest thing to me. And I don't know if I am just crazy because I think something is up, or there actually is something going on that I just cannot get a grasp on. Any advice would be appreciated very much. TLDR. I'm getting suspicious of husband of what he does every Saturday night. Circle jerk. Fight Club. What are some other options here if he's not cheating? Lol, cause that's where my mind goes. If I was living near you, I'd offer to spy on them for my own entertainment. This is so weird. Is it every single Saturday the same group of people? Like no one sometimes has a wedding to go to or a work commitment or a birthday party or just like other plans? Like either this is some kind of weird ritual sacrifice thing or they aren't even really friends, but all just cover for each other with their wives to go cheat once a week? IDK, this is so weird. This sounds extremely weird to me. Some random and over-the-top ideas that come to my mind after reading this are, they are all covering for each other with their wives and each have an AP that they go and see on Saturdays. They are into illegal activities and they aren't friends at all. Just business partners. They are a part of some kind of male-only club, but don't want anyone, wives, to know. Honestly, I just find it strange that he spends every Saturday with these people yet they aren't friendly to you. One would think that your husband and them are good friends from the amount of time they spend together. So wouldn't they want to get to know his wife, even just superficially? Have you noticed any new behavior from your husband, apart from Saturday night, e.g., more spending, more dollar coming in, change in style of dress, etc.? Have you looked these friends up on social media to see if they have a family, etc.? Also, where did he meet them? His age, the punctuality, the fact he comes back at 6 a.m. not drunk. Cocaine. He's doing cocaine. D&D? Playing illegal poker? There are lots of possibilities. He's not really hiding anything, but he's also not being very forthcoming with info. These guys may be a support group for him in some way. No way to know unless you get him to be honest with you. This sounds like the same situation on how Dungeons and Dragons was created. Husband would disappear with weird friends. Wife grew suspicious and followed him one day and tracked him to a random basement where they was inventing Dungeons and Dragons. I really am hoping a new board game comes out of this. Update me. What about other friends? You mentioned he's left a different friend group recently after meeting these guys. Have you asked him why he no longer hangs out with them? Does he have any friend group y'all regularly hang out with together, or do y'all usually spend time with friends separately? Is he an introverted guy in general? Does he have any hobbies? Maybe they all do an embarrassing activity together like video games or D&D or poker. And that's their main way of socializing, and it's awkward when that's not the center of the conversation. It would also help explain why it's a regular event in his schedule rather than having a more organic hangout schedule, like getting beers on a random Tuesday after work. Does his or one of their jobs have an atypical schedule where Thursday is his only free day? Regardless, it's still strange he wouldn't just tell you about it, even if he's embarrassed over whatever it is. But just giving some innocuous suggestions, since most of these are pretty drastic. But if he's gone from having lots of different friends, especially mutual friends between you two, to only hanging out with these guys, then that seems quite sketchy to me and warrants a much different conversation. If he's cut out most of his other friends, I think that might warrant a conversation with the ex-friends too. What about substance abuse? And this is a sponsor situation. His other friends did drugs other than alcohol, and these guys keep each other from going on a Saturday night bender? It's hard because there's no actual reason for him to be lying, which makes it hard to justify a pie or other drastic measures. It's just uncanny valley behavior. That is a weird one really. But I am intrigued. I would hire a pie to follow them one night. Other options would be to spontaneously ask to go with them on the spot. Kind of, you know what? I could use a night out, so that they have no time to prepare or come up with an excuse. Or tell him that you'd like him to not go out every Saturday but like every other one and see if he panics. Are there charges on his card on these Saturday nights? Yeah, that sounds super weird. To stay out that late. And go out that early. Every Saturday night with these odd, unfriendly friends? It does sound like there is something going on, but I don't know what. You need to have them followed and see what they really get up to. It doesn't sound like they actually go drinking. Your husband is using them as cover to get out of the house. How very Stepford wives. I don't know what your hubs is doing. Hopefully it's nothing illegal, but I hope you find out soon. Remind me. 1 month. Did he admit to you that he had cheated back then? Or did you find out? We need an update for this one. He says they go to a friend's house after the bar closes. What would happen if you insist that next Saturday they use your place? Fake magnanimous, honey, it's not fair, you never get to have your buddies over just because you're married. I insist they come over here next time. I'll stay out of the way. I don't think he would have friends pick him up so he can go to a woman's house. Maybe follow him sometime. Lol, I know it's crazy to do that. But sounds like you won't ever know until you do that. Or hire a private investigator to follow him. But you said when ya went with them they were all chilling at the bar. It's probably just that. Maybe they weren't comfortable with you there and that's why they acted the way they did. Maybe your husband vents about you to them and he couldn't do that with you there and that's why he doesn't want you there. Update me. Sounds to me like he's joined the Masons or something. Does he have GPS on his phone?
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.